And we're on.
Yo.
What's up, man?
What's up?
So I am super freaking pumped about this.
Me too.
Real raw results. And we got my man Aaron Schwartz here. And for if you don't know, I'd be surprised. But so funny story. I know your lead role was in Heavyweights.
Yes, sir.
Jerry
Garner.
Who was all in that with you? Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller. Man, that movie has some like sleepers in it.
Right? Heavy hitters that you didn't expect.
Oh man, there's like Tim Blake Nelson, from like Oh Brother Where Art
Yeah.
Thou? Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah.
That was his first role. He
Really?
played the guy who comes up in the beginning and says, Islanders fan, huh? He asks me, he's the guy who sells the camp, basically. That's Tim Blake Nelson.
Wow.
Peter Berg, the director, is one of the lunch lady guys in it. And Ben Stiller, of course. You got, this is Judd Apatow's first feature film. He was 27 years old.
Crazy. And so funny story is when I met you through friends, I had no idea who you were. And they're like, Heavyweights. I'm like, I've never seen that. And they're like, what? And but Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Bro, it's huge. I was like, we're going to do a flying V today, by the way, just so.
We are?
Yeah, I feel like we're doing a flying V.
I was not.
You're prepared for that?
Prepared for a flying V, man. I got to get like my stretch.
You got to get ready to go?
Yeah.
We got some hockey guys here. So didn't know. I had no idea. And then heavyweights. So I go home.
Your wife knows.
Well, she knew. So
she was reciting quotes.
She remember how mad she was at me. So the first time I met you, and I said I go home, and I told her, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" She was watching the movie when I got home, which to me is the eeriest story. Is that she had no idea I met.
She had no idea.
Yeah, remember? And I texted you. I was like,
crazy. And
she goes, "That's him in the movie." And I'm like, "What? No way!" I'm like, "Oh my god, that guy was in freaking Mighty Ducks too." I was like, oh, come on."
That's cool.
So it was crazy. So hey man, let's go way back.
Yes,
back.
Sir.
Obviously, I guess it all started when you were a kid. So how old were you when you first got into movie?
I was that movie. The first time I ever got into a feature, like a major feature film, I booked it when I was 10, and they started filming when I was 11. That was the Mighty Ducks.
Wow, first one 10. You were in Mighty Ducks at 11.
Yeah, so Mighty Ducks I booked when I was 10, and I had my birthday when we started filming.
Wow, so 10 years old, you got into it.
I got into the whole business
younger.
So like even as a little kid, for me to get to the point where it's not like I was just like discovered.
Yeah, you're just getting Mighty Ducks.
I was 6 years old. I was obsessed with acting. I don't know why. I don't know what. I'm sure a psychologist can like depict what's happening in my brain, but I was obsessed with acting. It was a very strange obsession. It's kind of like I see people like you who are hustlers who are just like driven. Go all the time. That was me at 6, like obsessed with being in movies. I wanted to be in movies. And so I would stop people on the street, like filming movies, and I would ask them, what's the system? Like, what do you have to do to get there? And
who did you stop on the street?
Michael Keaton and
Really?
Anthony LaPaglia. They were filming a movie called One Good Cop.
Wow.
On 106th Street and Broadway, right around the corner
New
from
York.
where I grew up. New York City.
How you doing? How you been, New York City?
Yeah, and there was One Good Cop, and I saw, and Michael Keaton was like, giving me the time of day, and he was telling me stuff, but Anthony LaPaglia was the one that really like sat down with me and
6 years old.
6 years old.
Where does that come from? I believe obsession drives success. I'm 100%. But where does it come from at 6 years old?
I don't know, man. I wish I had some of that right now.
Yeah.
I have like a touch. I have a touch of it, and then I force myself to immerse into the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's not innate anymore. When I was 6, it was like, it was there. It was in my blood.
But so I wonder if it was for the acting. You just got to find the new acting. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe just rediscover the passion that was connected to the acting. I think maybe, when you get older, life smacks you up inside the head with issues and everything else. And I think, maybe being in the business for a while, maybe slow moments in the business made me realize maybe I need to do something else. I did leave for a while, but it was an obsession. Straight up, it does. If you push yourself hard enough at anything, and like to be able to push yourself hard enough at anything, you have to be obsessed. Yeah. Otherwise, you're miserable because all you're doing is forcing yourself to do something that you don't like doing.
Just half-assing everything.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about having a childlike mind, man. I look, when you want to be successful even older, man, I'm, 38, 39, and I have childlike tendencies when it comes to imagination and being success. Like now, you look at it, you wouldn't want to go up to just I mean, like
I
me,
wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that to random people, right? Like most of the time I wouldn't, but it is something to be said about that lack of consciousness on just to be able to go up. You got to have that childlike mentality of being free to go up and like talk to people or creative things or not afraid to fail.
So funny. This is on screen.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss, man. It is. And I think as a child, I wouldn't consider myself ignorant, but I was. I didn't have the.
I think you're ignorant to failing.
Exactly. But as a child, even I did start getting into it, and I would like book. I booked an NY. They told me to do NYU films, to do free films, in order to build a resume so that I can like get an agent, basically. So I did some NYU films, but the first one I went out for, I was like, I booked it, ready to go, and I was like, I'm gonna be in my first movie. And I didn't care if it was NYU. I was like, it's a movie. I'm acting. And they said I was too small. Like everybody else was a little taller, and I guess I grew late in my life, and they kicked me out. Basically, they fired me. So my first gig,
free film, you got fired.
The first movie I ever booked, I was fired from.
I think that what's worse, getting fired on your day off and Friday, or getting fired from a free something you weren't getting paid for.
Yeah, but at 6 years old, at 6 years old, I didn't care if I was getting paid. I was like, this is going to get me paid. This is going to get. I wasn't even thinking about money.
Yeah, it's not because
I didn't care about the money.
Yeah,
I mean, the money was great. Once I started making it, I did care about it, but I cared about being in film. So I was like obsessed. I still am, but like that was a whole other level. Yeah.
Well, it goes, man. It's so crazy. We were just talking about. I want to get to a huge spoiler alert, but we were just talking. We had an interview, and we were talking about you in the meeting and talking about, hey, man. So I met this guy. I don't know. It was like over a year ago. Yeah, it's been a while now.
It's about a year.
Yeah, and so. Hey, man, we kept in contact, but it was over a year ago. Hey, man, what was going to come from it? It really didn't, like, obviously, this is crazy when I talk about child and not doing things for money. So I don't do this for money. Like, I don't do anything results money. I'm not money motivated. People try to bribe me with money. They try to get things by money. It doesn't motivate me. And so I think that's where a lot of my success comes from. Early on in my career, I was all money motivated. So I was chasing a dollar, and so it led to just dead ends to me. Now I'm not money motivated, so you can't motivate me with that. So I think there's something to be said with that because
but you have money.
You do. You start making the
but
most.
You need the money to have the freedom to not worry about the money.
But then you don't.
That's important.
But I didn't. When I wasn't making it here, when I was struggling, when I was driving Uber Eats to pay my bills and feed my family, I still wasn't money motivated. It was for the first time in my life doing this. I was doing it for something different than the money. And I think that's where it comes from the child. So when you're a kid, what do you do things for? You do it because you want to. You do it because you like it. You do it because it's fun. You don't follow your passions, let your passion follow you, right?
Exactly.
You have an imagination. And I laugh because the other day I go home and my 4-year-old created Disney World in our living room. He had his toys set out. He was saying, this is the train. And, bro, he was pumped. And you couldn't have told him it wasn't Disney World. But he was just a childlike imagination.
Yeah.
And I think when we get adults, we stop living that way and we start chasing money. So, therefore, it just roadblocks us, man. We start living to this chasing money and chasing
responsibilities.
Exactly.
The big key for me is responsibility. So, like, I left the business for a while. When I got older, I went to Israel. It's a long story. I went to Israel. I just wanted to, like, I saw the acting world starting to slow down, but I still had auditions. I was still going and stuff, but my booking, like, and I was like thirsty all the time for it. So, like, when I saw that I wasn't booking every 3 months, like it didn't feed me the way I needed to be fed. So I started, that childlike mentality started like having ADHD basically. I was like all over the place. What else am I going to do? Okay, yeah, well, my brother's is in Israel right now.
How old's your brother?
My brother's 5 years older than me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So he's 40, shit, I'm just getting so old. 46.
Telling on yourself now.
Yeah, 41 years old, man. I can't believe
Looking good for 41.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I'm busting my ass. But yeah, I was just telling him, I was like, I had some whiskey last night. Woke up this morning like somebody hit me with a train. Didn't even have a lot.
You just had like one.
One neat thing.
Terrible.
I'm like, what is going on?
I'm dead. Colin.
Oh, but yeah, so like I would, that I think that made me like I was like thirsty for something. So I left the business. I got out of it, basically. I had an audition for like Copland or something, I remember back in the day. And I ended up just ditching my agency. Real messed up thing to do, but I ended up doing that, ditching my agency and just kind of like going out to Israel for a year and then coming back. And then I'm going back and forth. And then I get back into the business. And I think me coming back into the business after leaving it, it fed something to me, kind of like, okay, I'm still obsessed with this, but I'm like nervous about it now because now I'm like, you know, you do have a stamp on you when you're a child actor and you get older. If you don't go through that period and stay active, people think that you didn't book because you couldn't book. And then you get this child, like I've had managers go, you got the child star stamp on you. You got to like shake that off. And that's something, like talking about the documentary I'm doing, that is something that is huge. One of the main reasons I'm starting to do that is because it's a big idea of like that child star stamp. So to like rewind back to where I was going, so I would, you know, leave the business and then I would go and I had responsibilities. Now I moved out of my house, you know, the money that I made, most of it was gone, you know, some of
partying out as a 12,
balling
out,
please,
dude, don't lie.
I didn't make that much,
yeah,
but
stop it.
Yeah, but I like, you know, I went to, you know what I spent a lot of the money on? A professional children's school.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a place where
that's
I met
awesome.
Macaulay Culkin, went to school with Macaulay Culkin, Kieran Culkin. I still have good friends from that school. Like all that school was just filled with
all-stars,
talented kids in every aspect. They had like pianists from Korea that were like world-renowned pianists. They had ballet dancers that were like would go to Royal Ballet and be like prima ballerinas. They had singers on stage. They had people from all Broadway. I used to go to like Broadway shows for free with my friends. Like it was a cool school. So I spent a shit ton of money.
How long did you go there?
4 years, 4 years, something like that. After the Ducks, I came back and I wanted to go there. You know what's funny, man? When I was a little kid, I thought I was a god. And not to be like a Kanye West, like I'm a god, I was humble.
It's okay, easy.
Yeah.
Schwartz, easy.
Yo, check.
When's the new album coming out?
I'm gonna post it and then delete it.
Yeah, so you know. There you go. Just tag me, please.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought in a non, like, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like I was full of myself.
But you didn't know any different. You were treated that way.
It was magic for me. Like I was obsessed with magic, like magic tricks and stuff like that. And I looked at movies like magic. Yeah. And that's why I was obsessed with it. So I would think to myself, I watched Macaulay Culkin on Home Alone. That was one big thing. I was like, I want to be that. I want to be like that. I didn't know all the bullshit that came around with being that.
Who cares, right?
But I wanted to be that. Not about the money, not about the fame, maybe about the fame, but maybe mostly because he was in a movie. He was a movie star, and he was making it in the business at that age.
Is he the child? Like, I mean,
he is the.
He's like the God. He's
for me,
Godfathers, right?
Look. I know him. I don't know him anymore, like well, but I grew up with him. I know him pretty well. I know his family. I'm still friends with some of his family, and I'll tell you, like, you know, he ended up, you know, never meet your heroes. He's not a bad person. He just ended up like, you know, we didn't become close friends. Me and his brother Kieran became pretty close friends.
Yeah, y'all aren't homies, but you know each other.
Yeah, but
he's the guy, right? Like everybody knows.
Once I met him and got to know him, like that magic trick kind of like started to dissolve. Sure. But I said to myself, I want to know him. I want to meet him. I want to be in movies. I want everything that I wanted, I got. So I literally thought like, you know, manifest destiny. I didn't know that word at the time, but I was manifesting my destiny. I literally was like, I'm going to get to know him and I'm going to go to school with him. I didn't even know the school that I was going to. He was there. And I show up at that school to do like a tour.
And he's there.
And Macaulay Culkin's sitting in the chair and I'm like,
did you tell him, are you here alone?
I was like, sign me up.
Yeah,
I was like, this is exactly where I need to be.
Was that before heavyweights? When you enrolled there? When you met him?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? Man, I think this has been a fantastic. A couple things to talk about is, you know, don't lie to yourself, and, you know, successful people don't buy your bullshit. But I think there's something to be said, man. When you meet someone that's where you want to be, or you think where you want to be, I think you look at them as they have this, you know, special ability, almost superhero-like, magic-like, and then when you meet them and you realize that they're no different than you, that's when it clicked for me, man. That was really, I think, strange for me, was that the room that I want to be in with other people, once I got there and interacted with them, it was almost like it gave, I've always had a lot of self-confidence growing up because I've been through probably opposite of what you did. Like, Grew up homeless. I was homeless at 14. Slept on a park bench. Complete opposite of living the life.
You had self-confidence.
But I still had self-confidence.
I was the opposite.
Yeah, so I had all the self-confidence, but I didn't know where it stemmed from. But I still had some insecurities in the back of my head that I couldn't be where he was because of my upbringing, right? There was a real thing, man. It fucked with me for a long time.
That's probably why you have this constant fire under your ass.
Always. Oh, that is a constant fire. I never want to go back. I start my day against this wall every day. Every day my back's against this wall where I'm coming out. If you're in my way, you're getting ran the fuck over. There's no stop. Like, hey, man, the back's against the wall. I'm the kid sleeping on the bench, and I'm coming for you. And so, but it was weird, man, because when I saw that room, I'm like, man, that dude, like, he had this, he had that, always, you know. But when I got in that room for the first time and I had conversations with him, I was like, uh-oh, like, y'all fucked up. Y'all shouldn't have let me in this room because you're not better than me. I have the same skills as you. It just took me that opportunity to figure it out. That's some help along the way. But once you get in that room with like that guy, you're like, I can be that guy. And then you get like a lead role on one of the greatest childhood movies of all time. Man, when you talk to people, when you ask, you probably poll people their top 3 to 5 kid movies of all time.
Really?
Without a doubt. Like, without a doubt. It's Home Alone.
I didn't know.
Heavyweights. I would say, and you were in 2 of them. Know. I would say Home Alone is probably the number one, right?
Home Alone is still my number one. Uncle Buck and Home Alone are like, and both Macaulay Culkin too.
What was it say? And then Cozy, you're here. What's your Cozy behind the scenes? There you go. All time.
Ducks and Heavyweights. Word.
Top 5, and I'm telling you, top 5, man. You could switch it. You could say Mighty Ducks number 1, but I think you're gonna have, if you come from this kind of, probably call it 30 and up, 30 to 40.
Yeah.
Childhood movies. Got to be Home Alone. Mighty Ducks, Heavyweights. It's 3 of the top 5, and you could interchange some other ones, but you're in 2 of them.
It's crazy because back maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, if that was still the case, which maybe it was, the people that were growing up and watching this were just starting maybe college or still young, right? And now there are CEOs, there are massive celebrities. Like Judd Apatow posted something about Heavyweights a couple weeks ago, and the picture was me and him. He posts like 10 pictures of Polaroids. But the top one was me and him in the first one. Man, that dude still looks at my stories. I'm like,
what?
Dude, I don't see what people see. Like some people are like, yo, you're a movie star and blah. Like I will look sometimes and scroll through like people who are looking at my stories, and I'll see like Judd Apatow, Jussie Smollett, the NHL Ducks, like, and I'm just like, what? Where am I? Why am I? I should be hustling more. I catch myself because I get the opposite of what you have. You came from something like that, and you needed to break yourself out of that so you could be in the same category as everybody else and then surpass them. I came from and not to say that I'm complacent because I'm not. I'm still a hustler, but I came from something like this, and even though I don't really understand still like the gravity of that, the fact that I was in movies when I was a kid, there's a comfort knowing that I accomplished something.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't help drive the fire.
You've left your mark.
It does the opposite.
What. Yeah.
But I don't want that, man. I want that down and dirty, like I want to feel like I was watching that Kanye West documentary.
Bro, isn't that not fire?
Oh, so good.
You watched that? I watched it twice already.
I'm
obsessed with you. I loved Kanye. I think he's one of the GOATs. But after watching that,
I didn't, and now I do.
Yeah, man, that was wild to be turned down that many times and to be that good.
And he was like, and he's like his mom, and you gotta give it to his mom. His mom instilled. Maybe people will think that it's and she was trying to like tell him not to be cocky about it, but like. Maybe it's good that he obviously went a little off from fame probably, but where he got to where he wanted to go and probably surpassed from where he even thought he would get to because he had this, like he knew he wasn't going to fail.
Yeah, unshakable confidence.
Dude, that is the key. And it's like when life hits you with a left and a right and an uppercut over and over again, you get up and you go, I'm going to get hit again. You don't go like,
and then when I
keep on hitting me. Like I gotta check this side because when you hitting this side's gonna go and make a fucking $1 million.
And then when you get hit me, I'm gonna fucking make a song called "Through the Wire."
Through the wire,
with a hospital bed and make it a
dude,
insane.
I was telling you, I had like a little bit of whiskey last night. I was last night watching like a TV show at like 8:30. I was beat up from the day. I don't know why. I was just so tired, and I was like, "Where's my energy? Where's my energy?" And I was like drinking a little whiskey, and I was like, Kanye West right now wouldn't be sitting in his couch.
Nope.
He would, if he was sitting in his couch, he'd be writing shit.
Yeah, making.
He would not be like, I always think that there's a ratio. There's a creation consumption ratio, I like to call it. And it's like, how much are you creating and how much are you consuming the people that are creating? Like people who watch TV, who buy things, who, we all do it. We consume, we're consumers. But then what are we consuming? We're consuming the people that create.
Yeah.
So do you want to be a consumer or do you want to be a creator? And if you want to be a creator, you need to consume to understand, but that ratio needs to be like creation here, consumption down here.
And you want to create, like, man, align yourself and consume the people that you want to create like or be like.
That's why I'm here right now.
That's it's like
you're key, man. You're somebody, and I said it before in my horrible speech over there. I'm doing a much better job now.
Yeah. When you got in front of the people, the actor got stage fright.
It's not stage fright. It's public speaking fright. Like you give me lines and I'll get up in front of those people and I'll fucking rock it. But you tell me to be myself in front of 30 people, I'll be like
I'm out. Who are you? I was like, he was just kidding. He wasn't a star. He didn't play anywhere.
Everybody's like, who the fuck?
Yeah, I thought he was an actor.
Yo, he looked like he was pissing himself.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons like I was at that meeting talking about it, trying to talk about it, is because you are somebody that I emulate. I want to emulate to be like. You are.
So
like,
awesome. Appreciate that.
Seriously, because you came from, like you said, you came from nothing. And I think that's like a loaded word because I don't think you came from nothing. But in comparison to what people see, you came from nothing.
Yeah.
And you fucking like beat through the doors nonstop. And that's admirable because, man, maybe it's something that you just can't help that you have. Or if the drive is like self drive. You forced yourself to get to that place. That's a habit that you created. And I'm obsessed with people like that.
Yeah, you have to, man. It's identifying where you want to be, right? There's always like milestones and stepping stones of where you want to be and like different places. Like goals in my life changed, but always had somewhere I want to be, right? Like always set these goals because I think it was the same thing you do for your team. You try to create wins, right? You get to create wins, and Jordan Peterson talks about it a lot, man. I love it, and I never heard it worded this way, but I used to do it subconsciously. Was set the bar low. I know it's like, you got to set the bar high, but it's not, man. You want to set the bar low, and the reason why is because
the devil's in the details.
Well, yeah, and if
he'll chase it down. He'll look at it. You want to do that?
It's going to haunt you. Well, if you bench 135 pounds and you want to bench 300 pounds, you're not going to get there overnight. But if you work hard for the next, call it 2 to 4 weeks, man, you might go from 135 to 145. So set the goal at 145, right? I got a 30-day goal. I want to bench 145. And then go from 145 to 165, right? And then before you know it, you'll be at that 300 pounds. But if you try to go to 145 to 300, you're never going to get there. So set the bar low. And I did that my whole life, man. Just kept chipping away, right? It was like, okay, it was like what Eminem say, man, you can't hurt the guy that strangles himself. And I knew that. I was like, okay, I was white trash. I did grow up in a trailer. I was homeless. I did overcome this. I don't know my father.
Crazy.
I knew, what else are you going to do about me, man? I know all that shit about me.
You stand up in front of your employees, massive amount of employees, and like pinch yourself?
Every day I walk into the office, every single day. Every day I walk in, and I hit the stairs, and I walk down this hall, and I see the first door. I go, that's our office. And then I see the second one. I go, holy shit, this is my office. And then I go, I'm walking into the 6,000 square foot building that created, and we have the 10,000 square foot, PDR shop.
PDR shop.
1,000 square foot office in Houston. And I go, all this was created because I got a wild dream by myself and decided to act on it. And now we have 100 plus employees, right? And it's all predicated on my getting one idea. We have a production company, right? Where we literally have a production company.
You're going to be helping me film my documentary, man.
Your documentary.
You guys are going to be helping. Yeah, it's going to be great.
And I do want to touch on that because I think that's huge on that. And, man, I do pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, oh. But then for me, it's like, and then on the flip side is, every day I come out with my back against the wall, and I'm like, hey, man, I haven't arrived. I'm on a scale of 1 to 10. I feel like I'm a 2.
Do you?
I really genuinely think I'm a 2. Like,
I think people look at you sometimes and go, It's easy for him. Like I get like yesterday I got home, I thought about you. I got home. I mean, first I was thinking about Kanye. Sorry, but then I was like,
hey, I'll say breath is easy. I'm good. I don't know if it's because I'm crazy or
it's both, man. I think there's a craziness, but I think that's
crazy.
a good crazy, man. You're a good person too. So it's like, man, I was on my couch sitting down, just like, oh man, today was not rough for most people. For me, it was rough. Why was it rough? I mean, I remember. Am I getting old? Am I tired? What's going on? The drive is mental. My body's
mental.
My body. If I was filming a movie for 15 hours straight, you better believe I would be on my mark, on set, excited, be learning my lines, be spending all day. But here I am on my couch, like ready just to like lay out for the evening at 7 o'clock. I mean, I wake up super early, but still at 7 o'clock. I'm like,
why?
What is Dustin doing right now?
I don't think I was home yet.
You were probably making calls, talking to people, doing all this stuff. But then once you got home, of course, you have a family. You got to spend time with the wife and the kids. But during that time, your brain's probably going like,
doesn't stop.
Let me write through the wire. You know what I mean? Let me write this thing. Let me do that thing. My brain doesn't anymore. And I want to get back to where it does, you know?
You got to surround yourself. Look, man, there's like, I love the Yeezy documentary. This is not a plug for Yeezy. Probably never see this, but
he'll never see
it. But if you're watching Yeezy, you can pay us in shoes.
If this is in my documentary and I push it out to Netflix or one of those streamers, which I need to try to get, I'm trying to get these.
We're getting it on there.
We're gonna get it on one of the streamers,
and we're getting Yeezy on. Yeah,
he'll see it,
and then he's gonna.
He might not get him on this one. We might get him on the next one, but
we'll make him.
He'll see this.
I'll get my people to reach out.
That's my goal. Yeezy's gonna see this.
And that one, and you know what the other one you have to watch, man?
And Joe Rogan. I want Joe Rogan to.
Joe Rogan's the man, by the way.
I want to be on his podcast so bad.
One day he's going to say he's going to get on our podcast, which, by the way, we should do a podcast while we get all this wrapped up. I think that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
We should do a podcast like we're hosting it. That'd be incredible.
So down.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And we'll get Rogan on. First guest, if you're watching. Subscribe. But, man, watch the – you know what's another realization for me is, again, it goes to these milestones is opened results roofing. What's next? We had a ton of success. And my brain just –
You didn't stake them. You didn't go, I'm making money. I'm good with this money. I'm just going to keep on making money.
So the money allows me to do things. So I took my entire life and analyzed what do I enjoy the most out of life. And for me, I enjoy work is a hobby to me. I fucking love this shit, dude. Like I love work. I love building businesses, and I love building people. It's like my hobby. You hate me, want to play golf? I don't want to fucking play golf. Sorry, Tiger Woods. Love you, bro. Think you're the GOAT. I don't want to play golf with the homies. I don't want to go to happy hour and have some beers with the homies. I want to work and create things or hang out with my wife and kids. This is what I love more than anything. I love going out. Like, we've gone out dinner. I love going out with people and having dinner and doing all those things. I'm not saying that, but it's knowing who you are, and if you self-audit who you really are, everything falls in line. Because like this, hey, man, if you're tired, rest. Right? Because only you know. So there's days. So there's days like 365 days a year. Hey man, there's probably 65 days I don't want to work. You still have to do things, but here's the thing: if you're tired, rest. But if it's you gotta be hustling more than you're resting. Right? There's certain days where if you're just tired. There's probably one day a month, man. I go home and take a nap in the middle of the day. Or I'll go home early to take a nap because I'm tired. I'm going to rest because I know my body's officially shut down. And I'm not going to do anything productive unless I can do it, because there's a difference between being busy and productive, right?
Yeah.
And I set these little milestones. So what I did was take everywhere I worked, the good, the bad, the ugly. Took my life, the good, bad, the ugly. And I only surround myself with things I like or that bring me peace and make me happy. And if you don't do one of those, man, you're done, right? No offense to you. Maybe I'm not good for you. You're not good for me. It doesn't matter. If you're good people, you're going to be in my life, right? That's it. I don't do anything else. And I set these milestones, and I created an environment with results, whether it's RR Productions, with the homie Cozy and Cody, the best in the game, whether it's, with people with the roofing company, Houston and Dallas, that are incredible. It's my PDR people, or if it's our roofing supplement company. I created an environment that I love.
Shout out to Rob and Ryan at the PDR. Ryan does roofing too, but
he does
shout
both.
Out to both those.
He's the PDR bros in the house. Hey man, I created an environment with people that I want to be around, so it's not work anymore. It's family, and so it's not. So when people are like, when do you turn it off? I'm like, I don't. Why? Because I love this shit. I don't need to. Why I won't turn it off? I love it. When I turn this off, it's a place I don't love because it's either my family or this, and I'm combined.
So
it's together.
What advice do you have for people? Me, I'm one of them. I have a friend. Let's say that.
Yeah,
I got a friend
asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. So they're not saying that my happy place is to sit down and do nothing, because it's not, because obviously I'm fucking driven nonstop. But I think the pandemic did something. I think the pandemic, as an actor especially, like, I think maybe I use it as an excuse.
Probably.
But I think I got lazy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm lazy, but innately I'm not lazy. I'm like always thinking about what can I do. You hear me calling you up, texting you like, I want to do this. I want to be on 1883. I'm obsessed with that Val Kilmer documentary. Yeah. So I'm gonna get better at riding horses. Go to your friend's ranch and submit a freaking monologue to John Papsadera and Taylor Sheridan. Fuck it, I don't care. I don't care about that, and I don't care about no's. So I'm driven, but then I also love the laziness, and I think that happened after the pandemic. Like me going home last night and sitting down, there was I was like, yeah, that that I got from sitting down on my ass is the that you get from creating something else, doing something, and it switched on me, and I don't know where it switched on me, but I'm in that place now. What's your advice on how to get back? If you find yourself now being comfortable in that spot, maybe it's a habit of mine, how do you switch back to like my default should be, I have to force myself to sit down. I want to get to the place where I have to force myself to sit on that couch, not to just go sit on that couch.
Yeah, so I enjoy sometimes sitting back and doing things remotely because it's necessary. It's become a necessary evil of, man, the hardest thing for me to turn off was I was in the field every day. I was hustling. I was with the team. And so now I do other things because you have this huge brand. It's the pandemic, I agree, but I think it's an excuse. It required people to either adapt or become extinct because the pandemic changed the game for us, right? It changed the game. Like I remember for roofing, there was like a month or two where the entire business is usually predicated on door knocking here, and it changed because you couldn't door knock. And hey, man, I remember a week into the pandemic, we were doing a roof because you could still build. We were an essential business, and we just door knocked because gave a card. So we knocked, left a card. Maybe we didn't even knock, but we left a card, and we got blasted. We hit about 15 doors and 2 bad reviews and 2 phone calls that were like, pandemic, and you're doing this, or you're like, we're doing a build. We're trying to let you know there was damage in your area. You get, hey man, blasted. So you can't door knock. You can't. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So open the business.
How you supposed to even like
feed my family?
Yeah. How you supposed to fix a roof if and there's a lot of roofing companies, so you got a lot of competition. You gotta eat.
So what do you do? So you go home and sit on the couch? No, fucking adapt.
Yeah.
And you got to find a way. And I think where most people get lost, man, is I think maybe you outgrew. Maybe not outgrew acting, but maybe acting is not your passion anymore, what you really want to do.
Oh, it is. No, so acting is my passion. And like, right, I mean, I've been out here for 4 months, and I already got an agent. I'm still have my manager and my agent out in LA. I already got an agent. I hustled to get the agent, and
maybe it's the creating the wins for you then. Maybe it's you just haven't seen a win.
Maybe
it's the win, man. Because look, losing's contagious.
It's 2 years, yeah.
It's 2 years, man. You've been a little off. You said this, man. I'm not on my game, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the creating the wins. I think creating wins is so important. You got to set the bar low, right? Setting the bar of, like, I use roofing with the new guys. They they want to come in and make 100,000, 200,000. Man, just get one. Just get one. That's a win. And maybe for you, it's a win. Because I will say, I even brought this up the other day. We were talking about we're going out to film You got your
the signing
in June in Atlantic City.
In Atlantic City, it's gonna be fun.
And then you were talking about the Smoky Mountain one, dude. That was the most fired up I'd seen you in 6 months.
Yeah.
So you had like a different fire in your eyes when I said it.
The documentary, I mean, it's back now. The reason I'm sitting here right now is because it is back. But I do catch myself getting into those moments, and obviously it bothers me. It's not like I'm sitting there and complacent with the fact that I'm sitting there and chilling. In the back of my head's going, why are you sitting there? What are you doing? What are you doing? So it's already starting to get back, but
I think you got to adapt to what you're doing. I think, and I didn't mean acting wasn't your passion, like actually acting. No. I meant acting wasn't your passion. Like it's not the same anymore. So used to you go auditions, everything. COVID changed things. So it's how do you get business, right? I think if you had a gig,
that's the thing. It's about business.
Like you just said, 1883, right? Mm-hmm. Fucking Iceman, the goat, like Maverick, Iceman. That was Val Kilmer's. That was amazing. Tombstone.
So he did these tapes he would send out.
Tapes.
I mean, he was already Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
at the
but
time.
still, he had. What else had he done?
He was ready to hear people going like, what is Val Kilmer sending me all these tapes for?
Yeah.
Tell him to stop.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
But he still got he got a deal.
He booked the doors that way.
Yeah. So that's the same thing. Is like, I think you got to adapt to what you're doing. Social media, sending tapes, and who cares, man? Send to every, like think about Kanye for a second. Think about this if you're being complacent. If you went to any like producer or anybody that made beats and said, I'm going to get you at Rockefellers and I'm going to have you doing all the who's who of hip hop at the time, including Jay-Z, and you're going to make all their beats. So if somebody needs a sick beat, they're going to call you. Would you take that? There's not a person in the world that say no. We'd be like, hell yeah. What did Kanye?
He didn't want it.
He didn't want that.
He's a rapper.
But what did he do?
Like, I'm a rapper.
But he literally, you remember, he threw away his making beats career to become pursuing a rapper because they signed him just so he couldn't go anywhere else, but then they wouldn't let him rap. And then what did he do?
He created a party. He actually created a party for his own mixtape that he put his own money into.
His own 30 grand,
and
40 grand.
And he threw a party, and he had Dame Dash there and all those other people. And then in front of him was like, he was like, well, if I would be able to get any studio time with you guys.
And like, he borrowed studio time from other rappers.
Pharrell was like
that was hot.
Well, yeah, it was crazy.
So think about it. But they kept telling him, no, but he made it.
Yeah.
And then what did he get? 11 Grammys? When his album dropped?
Dude.
Was it College Dropout? Is that College Dropout? It's Kanye's first album? Yeah, for 11 Grammys.
I mean, he had a lot of connections at the time, but then I look at those kind of things and I go, I got a good amount of connections.
Start with a win. Book your next movie. What does it do? Send it to every contact you have.
Yep.
Send them a video.
Yep.
And then it takes one yes and it changes your life.
I mean, I gotta give props to Judd Apatow because he literally got on the phone with me like right before the pandemic started because I was starting to make the documentary right before the pandemic, and he got on the phone with me because I wanted some advice. I gotta say that part of me wanting to talk to him was also to try to pitch him to be, to put his production company behind it.
Hey, by the way,
do you want to put? And it was a quick no.
Go.
It was a quick no. But he was still like, if you need anything, I'm here. This is my number, no problem. And it was so chill. So I'm afraid to use those contacts right now. I'm not afraid.
Don't be afraid because all they can tell you is no. You'll still be right.
I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, what are they gonna tell you? No.
I literally have like a vision for this documentary. Something I want to, and it's not like I want to get the documentary out so I can create something and make a name for myself. I don't care. Like honestly, if this documentary doesn't do well and not a lot of people see it, that's gonna suck because I want people to see it.
Yeah,
but it's not about like putting my name in it or anything like that. It's about I want people to be aware of this whole idea of the child actor and to kind of go on the journey with me going through all of that shit, taking the veil off of the Hollywood look, like I walk in here and people are like, oh, it's the movie star, Yeah, did you know that like I just like paid my bills just like you. I just went, I'm in
budgeting and everything.
Budgeting, man. I'm in my Ford Bronco. I'm not driving like, a freaking Lamborghini right now. I'm thinking that way, but at the same time, I think that it's something that people should know about Hollywood because it's not only me. Like there are people that are successful in the business, like quote unquote successful, that some of these people are on TV shows bartending.
Yeah,
on
waiting
the side.
tables, living with their parents.
Dude, you have no idea. And like it's the small little like people think, you've made it when you've gotten to a certain. So I wanted to like talk about that stuff, but also talk about all the other, shit that goes along with being a child actor and how I don't think I'm super messed up. I'm like not an extremely normal person, but I mean, normal people are boring.
Yeah.
But I'm driven to show people that child actors are misunderstood.
Well, it's weird. And so I think this is a good time to get on the topic of, so you went to, Mighty Ducks at 11. When did you do heavyweights?
13.
13. And you were in LA, right? Up until recently, until about 4 or 5 months ago.
So I lived the whole time I was in New York.
Yeah, you were in New York then, but you moved to LA the most recently.
I moved to LA like when I was like 34.
34. So the last 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And then you're here now fucking Frisco, Texas. Yeah,
Frisco, Texas.
So
what am I doing here?
Yeah, how did you get here? And I think, look, we've talked about this, man, and I think it's kind of crazy. And I'm not saying this because I know you, but I think when you see someone famous now and they have a fallout or a fall from fame, like let's use Kanye. We're on Kanye. It's documented, and people are reaching out trying to help Kanye, right? Like, oh, hey, Kanye, what was it? Let's see, the other day, Team Kanye and Team the other guy, right?
They're trying to help Kanye. Kanye is never going to be falling.
No, but what I mean is they think he's crazy. Like,
oh yeah,
but it's documented, and people will oh, you got to help, whatever. When you're a childhood star, man, it kind of goes forgotten because you're a kid, you're a child. So what do you think when you have a child? Parents, people are going to take care of you, but realize is like, think about that. You did. You're at the time of acting, your peak was heavyweights at 13.
Yeah.
And that peak probably lasted a year or two, right? Probably rough step. So, but hey, man, before you blink, you're 18.
Yeah.
And so, like, people don't realize, and then what happens, man? People aren't going to be reaching out to you 40. Oh, hey, man, I know I met you when you were 14. What's going on, right? Some of these childhood actors, you don't know who they are anymore. Maybe you don't recognize them. And they don't have a fall. It doesn't mean they fall, but like you said, you don't get booked gigs. And what are you supposed to do? Like your life from 10 years old to 15, 16 was what? Acting.
That's a great point, man.
So then what life skills are you learning for a business?
Fall. They're calling it a fall. That's a great point. And then you kind of gave me an idea for more things in the documentary. Yeah. Like to kind of maneuver the narrative out there of a child actor coming from one place to another and having a fall just because they're not where you assume,
think they should be.
You assume that, so-and-so, once they're 25, should be an A-lister in a movie. And if they haven't reached that position, then they have fallen. They have failed, basically. And, if a person chooses not to be in the business anymore, of course, that's not the case. But if a person's still pursuing the business and not getting to where the majority of the people think they should get, where they see the celebrities get, it's not a failure. It's just a different journey.
Well, because realistically, from the ages of 10 to 16, what were you working on? Acting. Were you learning? I'm not saying you weren't learning life skills, but were you going to school to learn business, finance? Like
no.
You didn't think anything else, right? And so you look at it, and I'm not trying to compare to Mike Tyson.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I'm not trying to compare you to like Mike Tyson. But look, Mike Tyson was probably the most glorified person in the world, dude. The heavyweight champ. That dude was the baddest man on the planet, and everyone knew who the fuck Mike Tyson was, right? And Mike Tyson went to prison. Mike Tyson had one of you could say a fall from fame, right? But we all watched it, and then what happened? He got movies. He wasn't an actor. People knew he was successful before, watched his fall, and gave him gigs, gave him other opportunities, right? Because he was an adult, he was out there, and he was famous. But when you're a kid, man, you're a kid for being like a famous child. And when you become adult, that doesn't transition, but then you're not learning life skills. So it's not that you're falling. It's just how are you supposed to advance when you're a freaking child and you're learning one thing, to act. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're 18 and you're an adult and you're thrown into this adult world. But the life skills you have that you've been sheltered to are acting. But then now I don't need you anymore, so fuck you, bro. I'm gonna throw you out if I'm a agency or whatever.
And so the child. So that's, I think, one of the major reasons a lot of kids do go to. There are child actors that become drug addicts. And there are addiction problems, and it's ultimately it's the chasing the dragon syndrome, basically. Like
one high to another.
You've gotten this high. Like you book and you book and you book, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And you're thirsty for it. I felt it, but I think parents have a lot to do with it as well. But I mean, if you take that thirst and you maneuver it in a way, you become smart about it, like the way you're smart about the baby steps through business, and that's how you got there. You looked at one obstacle at a time. I think if you go through anything in life, but especially as a child actor to an adult, and you still want to act, you got to look at it that way. Yeah. And you don't want to act anymore. Oh shit, I have no life skills other than acting, which is a huge life skill if you want to do sales.
No, but it is. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, but still, like, let's say they want to be an engineer. So they got to go back to school. So they're going back to school when they're 23 instead of when they're 18.
Yeah.
Or they're 30 or 40. Man, I know people who are my age who quit acting and finally became doctors at 50, dude. Like, everybody has their own journey. And I think the key to what's the difference between the child that ends up becoming, like, I love Shaun Weiss. Shaun Weiss is doing better now, but Shaun, who played the goalie in the Mighty Ducks,
Goldberg,
and Josh in heavyweights, he fell off.
Bad, right?
Bad.
That's sad, Mitz.
And you know, and he talked to me about it, and he like opened his heart up about it, and he talked about how he was just like he gave up on life. He didn't kill himself physically, but he was killing himself, he said. And what got him there, you know, there was a lot of different issues. He says it was a girl, and there was another issue involved, but
compounded things.
It was being a child star.
Yeah.
We did something. We did a small project together while he was actually still on drugs, and I didn't know. And he sat there and he was like crying at the end of the shoot, and he looked at me and I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "I don't know what else to do." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Now that this is over, man, I feel like nobody. Like I need this. Like that's dangerous.
This is super dangerous.
That's dangerous. And I think that's like you got to have a purpose. And I think the biggest goal for anybody who's something that I think is a problem with child actors, and that's one issue. Although my documentary, I'm trying to protect that image of child actors and say, hey, not all of us are, you know.
You don't have to be a drug addict or
going to drug addict.
But no.
But I will say that the one thing that a child actor needs, first of all, protection from a parent with, you know, there was pedophilia and all that stuff. I have never had a problem, thank God, with that. But besides that stuff, they need to be taught that this is not who you are. Like this, you being in this and being that person. Like I come in here, I have to fight it. And the reason people like, you're so humble, except for that God thing that I said, but you're so humble.
Okay, Jesus, sorry. Yeah.
I am one.
I'm humble, but I'm God.
But like when they said, like when I came in and, oh, the movie star, oh, yo, this is, you know who this is? You know who this is? It's not fake. It's not being fake humble. You know, I literally force myself to always not think that way, because then I put myself in the position, and I think that may be why I'm like somewhat normal, because I will force myself to be put into the position of I am that guy, like that's who I am, and then I have to look at my life for how it is not what that image looks like, and then you become depressed because you're focused on only being that person, and my life is so much more. My life is man, I love a million things. I do a ton of things. I want to make this documentary. I want to do other things. I ride horses. Sure, it's for a show, but I want to ride. I mean, there's so many things that I love in my life that are not connected to acting, even though that's my passion and I'm obsessed with it. Me as a person is not me, Aaron, the actor in Heavyweights and Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, it's not. And you have to, I think, too, for childhood stars, man, is they try to, you said it, they're chasing that dragon. It's for all of us when we taste that fame, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's fame or a dollar amount. I mean, I remember there was times I was chasing where I used to be, and the problem is that you can never recreate that, right? And you got to reinvent yourself and regrow. And when you're, I don't know what it's like to be a star at 12 years old, man. That's a real fucking thing, right? But you see it time and time again, and those guys are trying to be who they were. And I'm like, that's not who you are, man. You're not there anymore. And the reality is, man, most people don't care. Right? Most people don't care. Like it's the sad thing is most people don't care because they have their own shit to worry about. Right?
True.
It's cool. They see, oh yeah, he's famous, but that's not going to get you anywhere. Right? Who you are as a real person is what's going to get you there. And I'm super stoked to even be a part of this and help you with it, because I think it's a real thing, man. And I think you can't put people like that on a pedestal. Some of them need help. If you want to put them on a pedestal, help them with a life skill. Help them with maybe a career opportunity, right? Help them with something that's going to better their life for the event that it doesn't work out, right? Obviously, you'd hope it would work out, but when you're 30, you're not a childhood star anymore.
Nope.
Right? You're not. You're just not a childhood actor. And if you want to be an actor, you got to reinvent yourself. And I think that's one of the unique things that you're doing is you're trying to reinvent yourself. Always. And you have been, and it's a cool journey. Dude,
I booked when I did Gossip Girl. I kept on booking. Guardians, Gossip Girl. Just did SWAT right before the pandemic, man, things were blowing up. I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
I was on hold for 5 things. I was about to be on a TV show. I was on SWAT. I did all this other stuff. And I did start, and that was already reinventing myself in the business 3 times. I left the business and came back. Left the business, came back. I had to start from scratch. I did a showcase for an agency. Like, I had to show up and do a monologue for an agency. It wasn't like, oh, it's Aaron Schwartz, let's sign him. It was like, no, what has he got? Like, what? Okay,
Like I'm the schmuck from
like
down
I'm straight up from the beginning. I started from scratch.
Hey,
dude.
I'm Dustin. I'm with you. Your turn.
Yo, and then they see the resume and they're like, oh shit, and maybe that helped me get through the door a little bit. But I started from scratch.
Resume didn't mean anything,
dude. I went to classes. I did like 2-year intensives with this woman Maggie Flanagan for Meisner technique, which is acting technique. I went to acting classes. I went to scene study. I found the drive again, and I went at it, and I did it again and again, and I'm still reinventing myself.
Yeah, you have to.
And that's huge, and that's one of the reasons I came out here. That's to bring it back to why am I in Frisco. I didn't want to be stagnant, man. I think the pandemic got me stagnant. You know, the acting wasn't happening. My agency, I would like once in a while hit them up and be like, so what's going on? Nothing's happening. You know?
Okay, cool.
Follow Anthony Fauci. Nothing's happening. You know, it's like, but I
want to do something.
What am I going to do? Am I going to keep on writing and try to like get something out there? I got to make the documentary. I'd hit my business partner up, and it was like he was busy making money because of the pandemic. He had to do his business on the side. And I got to the point where I was like, I can't be out here anymore. It's not about Los Angeles and whatever the drama and the politics. It was about, I got to make a move. Yeah. And so I met James Pate.
Fat Prince, the man, the myth of 11. That's my guy.
Met James Pate at a signing. And he was like one of the kindest, man. I had an
OG, man.
I got sick. I had to go to the doctor, and I needed to pick up antibiotics. During this signing, it sucked. And he drove me with his wife and his daughter and stepdaughter. Yeah. And like they like took care of me, and he was just genuine people. And he did real estate, and I was like, maybe I'll like do real estate on the side, because like what happens when an actor? What do I know besides acting? Bartending. Yeah. You know, like I know other stuff. I did real estate a little bit. I can put down floors, something I did back in the day. It's a ton of shit. Like, man, I did so many side things to like keep the roof over my head. Bartending is the thing that I'm really good at, that I can like anywhere. It's my trade. Yeah. But I didn't want to do that shit anymore. Yeah. I didn't want to be the guy behind the bar who gets recognized. Like that pissed me off. Yeah. And not that it's anything wrong with it. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, I'm going to try real estate. I came out here because I was like, okay, I'll do real estate, but I'm going to come out here so I can have the freedom. Things are a little less expensive than LA. Not by much anymore in Frisco. A little less expensive. My dog has a little yard out there. I have the comfort of a nice apartment. It's got a gym in my apartment. I'm happy. And now it's hustle time. Yeah. And I came out here to kind of change it up a little more and figure out exactly what I want to continue doing without having the drama of LA around me. Because LA is just an entertainment community. Yeah. And I needed to get away from that and just kind of like focus on life.
Yeah. And so when is the documentary going to come out? Do we know yet? Or
So, man, we got to film some more. My basic, I personally knew where it was going to go, where it was going to end, how it was going to like be put together. Yep. It's a journey documentary. Absolutely. So it's like wherever things go. But now I'm kind of like, let me blow around with the wind. Let me just see where the wind takes me. So until I feel like it's the right time to finish filming, I want to keep on filming stuff.
Yeah, keep filming. Who's in it, man? I saw the teaser. The teaser's wild.
Yo, it's really exciting. I mean, I was on Sway Calloway.
Wow. Sway.
So Sway in the Morning is in it. Yeah, he talks about fame.
Sway in the Morning is in there.
Heather B on Sway. So they talk about fame, and that's a huge thing that I really liked about that. My boy DJ DB, who's also with Sway. And then we got Jonathan Lipnicki, who played in Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money.
So he was a little kid, and he was also in Stuart
Isn't he like
Little.
A badass in jiu-jitsu?
Dude.
Isn't he?
So every time I interview somebody, I want it to be different. I don't want to just like sit down and interview somebody. So like right here, like I'm going to use some of this for the documentary to like kind of explain where I've been, why I went out to Frisco. I'm going to use some of this because I don't want it to just be like a straight up like, here's a documentary about World War III. Yeah. Like I want it to be like different. So I want with Lipnicki, I was like, let me interview him in a different way. Let's roll a little bit. Because I did jujitsu back in the day. I trained at Enzo Gracie Academy in New York City. Got my blue belt there. Not great. You know, I'm not bad, but I'm good for a blue belt. He's a black belt. Destroyed me.
He's a black belt. The fucking kid from Jerry Maguire. How you doing? How you been?
Yeah,
no way.
He was black belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
No way.
Or maybe it's another.
The kid from the.
You know,
hold on. You guys know this?
That's 10 years.
The kid from Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Yo,
is a black belt.
This kid is 5'6", maybe 5. I don't want to say he's too short. Maybe 5'6", 5, something like that. He's quite significantly shorter than me. I weigh like 180 pounds. I'm 6 feet. He's maybe 5'6", 5'5", maybe 120 pound.
Yeah,
dude,
you got whooped. Tapped out. How many times tapped you out?
Oh man,
you lost count.
Man,
and I'm not talking shit.
I'm somebody like I have a wrestler friend who is actually like a Division I wrestler who knows jiu-jitsu, trained with Frankie Edgar, like is friends with Frankie Edgar at Rutgers. This cat could not tap me out, and he's good.
And Jerry Maguire did.
Jerry Maguire tapped me out with, dude, the same triangle. Caught me in the same ass triangle 5 times, like in a row.
Cozy, can you look that up?
I have footage.
A black belt? No. I know. I want to see that he's a black belt in Gracie.
Oh, he's a black. That's
wild.
I'm a jiu-jitsu. Like I love jiu-jitsu. And I'll tell you right now,
MMA.
Like you get Ryan and him in a room, they would have a fun time.
Benoit, babyface. Yeah. I love mixed martial arts. I've dabbled into it, trained with Ryan Babyface. Is my guy. You? Love Babyface. We're actually texting today about training again. He had to have his injury, and then when I tore my calf, but we trained 2-3 days a week for a while. It's my guy. Man, I love mixed martial arts. I think it's so humbling, man. It changed my life. I was very obviously coming through all what I went through. I was a fighter, but out of control, right? Like, fighting wherever, fighting life, fighting people, it didn't matter. Just fought, right? I just had to fight through life. And I went to a place once and started doing it, and I got my ass kicked first day, of course. It was the first day ever in like a professional setting, if you will, or not professional, but, controlled setting.
You got to swallow that pride.
But it wasn't even about swallowing your ego's not your amigo. And I think one of the things for me, I never had that, but man, the first day when I got beat up and I had a black eye and I was exhausted, and I remember we were sparring with gloves on. Guy took me down. He's beating me, and I was laughing, and he thought I was like talking trash while I was laughing, but it was like this joy of I felt like I was gonna die, but I love the feeling of you're still fighting as a human. This is what my life represented it, and it let me know that, hey man, it's okay to take an L. It's not the end of the world. And I think it really taught me, because I lived my life, even though I was a fighter, kind of safety, to where I didn't like to take the losses, right? I don't like that whole I either win or learn shit, because fall in love with losing. Man, fuck that, dude. I disagree with that a lot. Never fall in love with losing. You can be okay with losing because losing's a part of the process, but don't fall in love with it.
But with something like mixed martial arts,
you have to.
Jiu-jitsu especially.
You're losing. Yes.
So, boxing is, you could get clipped accidentally if you're a better boxer and get knocked out by a less trained boxer. That can happen. Jiu-jitsu, you won't tap out somebody if you're
nobody. And the dude's a black belt from Jerry Maguire.
100% of the time, it's technical.
Oh yeah, it is.
There's no luck,
but it's
small. It depends on the levels, but there's basically no luck.
Skill, and it's the great, it's the obviously modern day gladiators. It baffles me that you get dudes in the street bumping gums that have never trained, right? Like I'm minimal training, and I wouldn't go out bumping gums, and I can handle my own. And I look at guys that are professionals, right? Like, and you're out bumping, but it humbled me, man, because it's like, wow, you can lose and still win, right?
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it, and it changed my life. Like mixed martial arts, even though I never did it or professionally, I was never that guy, anything like that. Never but just the sparring and the training and rolling wrestling, it changed my life. I loved it. It gave me kind of a purpose on that, and I fell in love with it, man. And I use it just.
It's so great. It's so great to learn. So when you lose, you learn. That whole. But it's so great. Like when you would get tapped out. What did I do?
Yeah,
that's what I think about. I don't think like, I lost, because I'm training.
What could I have done better?
What did I? Why was my hand here?
Why did I put myself in position?
It's this whole like chess move. And there's a moment. I forget. I was listening to something, but they said the same thing. There's a moment like I used to get like the worst feeling I felt was about to get choked. I hated it, man.
It's like, how did I get here? You're probably wondering how I got here.
Guy's got his hooks in. He's behind me, and like. He's got, if I'm doing gi, he's got his hand under the gi collar, and I could feel my carotid starting to get cut off, and I'm struggling.
Are you a tap or go to sleep guy?
No, I'll go to sleep.
Yeah, I don't tap unless something's gonna break.
I'll tap if I'm feeling like my head's gonna pop, because sometimes when they're good, there's no room here, and when they squeeze and they really get that choke in, your body taps. Like you
tap. Yeah,
you know,
no shame in it.
The Hoyler Gracie who doesn't. I don't know how the fuck they do it because they're monsters. But like, there comes to a point where your ankle is twisted backwards or your arm is twisted away. It shouldn't twitch, and you're feeling that pressure on the bone, and it hurts like a motherfucker. You are gonna tap.
Yeah, you better tap.
I don't care how tough
you are.
You could be the biggest dude. You will tap because that pain is hurts. Unbearable. But the discomfort of having somebody behind you about to choke you, it's life or death.
Yeah, you gotta learn.
You know that you can tap and end it, but your body doesn't. And the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu I found was that in that moment you have to breathe. You can't just go
relax, dude. It's like life. Yeah, you can't go chaos, controlled chaos.
You have to be like, how do I? Because you gotta to get out of something, anything in life, you gotta chill to understand what you need to do.
Yeah,
and I think that taught me. I think jiu-jitsu is the greatest lesson in life because anything you do, it's like I have a tattoo that says what matters most is how well you walk through the fire.
Yeah,
fire is always gonna be there. It's all about like how you handle it.
Yeah,
and breathe through it. And like I got to admit, I lost some of it not doing jiu-jitsu for a while.
Yeah.
But anytime I did jiu-jitsu, life was HD. Everything was HD and clear and calm.
Good life. Well, I think you're probably 2 points of this is the kid from Jerry Maguire will whoop your ass.
Whoop my
and he'll whoop your ass in the streets. And then second, if you're not trained,
I don't know about that, man.
Don't start shit because you don't know because it could be the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Don't start shit. Yeah, that's the key. Dude, there's so many people that are doing jiu-jitsu now too.
And if you, I think you said we were talking about this earlier too. It's crazy. Life is weird. Is about when you're happy in life, man. You're doing things outside of like I would call it work that make your life so. Like you said, things were crystal clear when you were doing jiu-jitsu, man. And so you lose track of that, and it affects everything in your life, and you don't realize it. And for me, too, training kind of grounds me, whether it's MMA, even lifting, working out. I consider, obviously, all that. It grounds you, and I feel like I'm better at work. I'm better at home. When you're happy at home, you do things at work that are better and more productive and make you happy. When you're happy at work, you do things at home. You do things in the gym, and there's always little tells. Success and failure leaves clues. When you're at your most successful, you need to look at what the things you're doing, the daily habits, whether it be jiu-jitsu, working out, and recreate those habits because those habits create wins, man. And people lose track of that.
Man, they think it's a lot of saying yes.
Yeah,
and of course, you have to say no to certain things to like protect yourself. But man, I feel like I used to tell people when I was in that place, and I'm getting back there, and I'm starting to do it again. A lot of saying yes. Like when you want to say no. Question why you want to say no.
Well, your default setting says no.
Is it your comfort level?
It's all
why
it is.
Do you want to say no?
Insecurity and comfort level. Your default setting is like me, I have the opposite problem. I say yes, and then I have to talk myself out of why because I don't say no to new people. I don't say no to new ideas. The answer is yes. I'm going to listen. If you present me an idea, my default setting isn't no. It's yes, okay, and then why should I do it or why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I think that's a thing too. But the last thing on UFC, did you check out the fights this weekend?
No. I lost. I used to be obsessed with UFC.
Man,
like I could talk about Hughes.
Bro.
I could talk about BJ Penn, Chuck Liddell back in the day.
Bro.
After that, like after I started, I have the problem of like having a habit and stuff. So like I'll get obsessed with shit and then I won't get my other shit done.
Yeah, I get it.
I used to play professional level pool at one point. I got
shark.
so obsessed.
Aaron Schwartz, also known as a fucking pool
dude,
shark.
I did so many. I used to go to Vegas.
You're like Forrest Gump of pool.
Yo, I would all over the place. But that took so much time away from everything else, and I stopped and like, man, everything. So like UFC, I kind of had to take a step back because I knew I'd be like.
So we got to go to the Houston fight, which was probably the best card I've ever been on or seen. The Houston fight was phenomenal.
Who was fighting?
Izzy fought Whitaker.
Okay.
Derek Lewis, bro, just incredible from the early prelims. Not even the every fight was great. We were second row. Hey, man, greatest experience of my life. We got to take my 4-year-old.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was dancing the whole time. He was dancing. He got to do a shoey with Tui. Bro, my 4-year-old was living his best life. And I didn't go this weekend to the fights. I wanted to with the Covington Masvidal fight, Street Jesus. I love Street Jesus. But man,
know about them.
Fucking Kevin Holland. Dude, Kevin Holland's the real fucking deal, bro.
Word.
I know Kevin Holland. Maybe I'm a homer because I know he's my guy. He's a local guy. But I'm telling you right now, Kevin fucking Holland is the real deal, bro. He is coming for the 170 belt, bro. I'm telling you. You watch him in the first round. He just looked a little like
who is he aimed to face? Who's the person that people want to see him fight?
Man, he called out 170. Called out Cowboy Cerrone, which I think he walks through him in the first round. But dude,
I feel like Cowboys lost some of the fire.
Hey, he fought Cowboy Oliveira. And I'll tell you, in the first round, it was like he just didn't look himself. I don't know what it was. He was trying something. But, hey, let me tell you something. In the second round, he came out as Kevin Holland, and that shit lasted 38 seconds in the second round.
Yeah.
It was like when he walked out, I was like, I mean, he heard him in his corner. He said, yes, sir, to his coach. And I was like, it's over. 38 seconds in the second round. Hey, bro, he's a real fucking deal, bro. He is too long. He's too powerful. He's too quick at 170. To me, he moves like a 155er at 170, and he's strong like a 185er.
And if he's fighting at 170, that means he's walking around at 190.
Bro, hey man,
at least
I'm telling you, in the next 12 months, that dude's got if he's got the 170-pound strap. That dude is the real deal.
Damn.
He's a bad dude, man.
I got to get back into it.
We got to watch it.
Because I know you guys go. I got to come with you to a fight one day.
Come on.
Because I have never been to a UFC fight. And I was obsessed with it from UFC 1. I remember when UFC 1 came out, because I'm that old.
Yeah, I remember.
And
I
watched it. Yeah. I used to watch it on pay-per-view. Like, I was obsessed with that from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm going to the next major card. First of all, next Kevin Holland fight, I'm there first, second row. I'm going.
Word.
Next.
I'm gonna brush up on my UFC. And I'm gonna come with you.
Listen, man. There's the names you're gonna see. Like, hey, man, watch Covington. He won.
Yeah, I know.
Guy, Street Jesus, bro. God, respect those dudes.
What's his name? Israel. What's his name? Fightbender.
Izzy. He fought. Hey, man.
Ooh, that's the best. From what I've seen,
he's a bad dude.
I have not seen another fight besides BJ Penn. I would say that, like, somebody that surprised the shit out of me.
Hey,
Fightbender.
I'm telling you, if we see the Kevin Holland in the second round, he might be the best in the game.
Really?
Bro, I'm just and maybe I'm a homer. He's Fort Worth owned. He's DFW. Hey, dude, because you got 150.
I'm starting to feel some DFW pride.
Hey, bro, you got to feel some DFW pride. Hey, bro, it wasn't even close, man. It like he cracked him and it was done. Word. And it's cracked. I mean, I don't know at 170 who beats him. Who beats him at 170?
Who fights 170? I mean, Israel's a heavyweight, right?
No, 185. Who's the 170 champ?
He is.
Usman. It is Usman, yeah.
Usman is...
Bro, he cracks Usman.
You think so?
I fucking crack. I'll bet right now. Kevin
Usman's
Holland.
Great,
hey,
though.
Kevin Holland whoops Nate Diaz's ass. Whoops Usman's ass.
Nate Diaz was done 5 years ago.
But he
If I ever meet Nate Diaz,
Nate Diaz will whoop your ass. Jerry Maguire will
you
whoop your
better
ass.
believe.
Yeah.
You better believe Nate Diaz. I met Nate Diaz. I was running shirtless down Sunset Boulevard.
I love you, Nate Diaz.
And I see, was it Nick or Nate? I see one of the Diaz brothers, and I'm like, and I stop and I'm like, oh, and the guy was like, oh, fuck, this fucking weird shirtless blonde dude.
Yeah. Did you ask for his number?
No. I was like, can I get your
219?
number?
Yeah, I know the first 3 digits are 219.
Yo, 219. I know that.
Fucking beat it, nerd.
No, yeah, exactly. No, but he do. I was
bro.
like, I was like, you and your brother are like gods to me. I grew up watching you. Your jiu-jitsu's insane. I did. No, dude, he gave me a hug.
Yeah, he's super humble cat.
Yo, and I was like, I did Enzo
Respect
Gracie.
To the Diaz
I trained
brothers.
with John Danaher.
Yeah.
Like I did at Enzo Gracie Academy. You know, I rolled with George St. Pierre. I didn't train under him, but I trained in classes with John Danaher, who's the best jiu-jitsu teacher in the world.
Yep.
And so I talked to him about that. He was like, oh, man, that's so cool, blah, blah, blah. What you do? Like, what are you doing? And I told him I'm an actor. He's like, what are you in? And he was like, oh, shit, he knew heavyweights. And we started chatting. And
wild.
Dude,
Told you, heavyweights, yeah.
Out of nowhere, dude. He was one of the coolest people I met, so don't kick
no,
my ass,
Diaz,
please.
We love, hey, listen, I love the Diaz brothers, respect in the game.
These people are bigger
but 170,
than you know.
Covington's getting his ass whooped by Holland. Usman is getting cracked. I don't think he can take that shot, dude. I'm telling you, I don't think they can take the shot. And then here's the thing, too. Hey, man, he's too big for the weight class. I think he's long, hard to get a hold of. Bro, I think if he connects, he's cracked. All I'm saying is,
so that's the weird thing about, man, those lanky fighters, to get in that box is impossible.
Yeah, and he's hard to hit, man.
I used to spar, too, and it's like the lanky fighters.
Got that bounce, man. So he's got that bounce.
If they use that leverage right when they're punching,
Ooh.
that's
Love
like
USC. We're going to check out the next fight.
When you ever see somebody with like a big damn monkey arm that's fighting, like their arms are down to their ankles, and you're like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, lanky ass motherfucker can't fight for anything. No, those lanky people are the ones you gotta just stay away from.
Yeah,
because if they know how to punch, That's a jackhammer coming at you.
And we gotta get Ryan on. We get Ryan Benoit. Let me call Ryan. We can get Ryan on the podcast too and talk all things UFC. It's not to get off there. Childhood stars.
Let's do it. Yeah.
We can get a. You know what we should do? We should do a childhood star boxing match or MMA match.
They're doing that. Everybody's doing that.
That's what I'm saying. But we should do it childhood acting only.
Get Lipnicki with somebody else who's a. I want to do it too, but like I'm rusty. I need to train.
No, but we can't do because that dude. We need to.
But we get him with another jujitsu.
Yeah, or we could do a boxing. I think we do a boxing.
Yeah, boxing's more fun.
We could do a boxing.
No
Celebrity.
face punches for that for the
wear headgear. We could do it. I think that's the way to go.
Let's do it.
I like that.
I'm down.
So
I will do some boxing.
I'm
for
down.
Sure.
We'll get Ryan. We'll get Ryan
you.
on the podcast.
Your arms the size of my.
I'm so out of shape. I have no cardio. I got about 3 punches and I'm out of gas.
Yeah, but if I get hit with one of those 3 punches, I'm out of gas too.
Yeah, with the gas prices right now, we can't run out of gas.
Dude, $4?
That's it.
LA's at $670 something. There's a
there.
meme that shows we're at I Am Legend prices.
Bro.
Because in the scene in I Am Legend, it says
right,
$680. And then somebody took a picture next to that it says $680.
Bro.
That's fucked up.
Bro, that's wild. It's so wild. So we guys way off UFC talk. Obviously, I love some UFC. I love some MMA. I think
anybody who's listening to this podcast now, because I'm on it, just turned off.
Yeah, they're like, this fucking guy got tapped out by Jerry Maguire.
Except for Jerry, for
he's pumped.
Yo, so I got RJ Mitty in it. RJ is Walt Jr. in Breaking Bad.
Wow.
I interviewed him. I have a psychologist that I interview who's a good friend of mine that I actually was like working in a restaurant with a long time ago. She became a child psychologist. She's awesome. I can't. Because we're friends, she couldn't actually have a session with me, but she gave me some just some sound bites. And then I'm still going to. I have Devin Rattray on it. Devin Rattray plays Buzz in Home Alone. He was just in that new Prime
movie, right? Or was it?
Yeah, was it called Nikika? I don't know. It's something about like it's like an Amazon Prime machine. He's in it.
That's wild.
I told him that I wanted to get a therapist and like do sessions with a therapist, record it, put it in the documentary, use part of that as like a narrative possibly. He was telling me, he was like, don't do it. But I got him in there. I've got there's so many. I've got so many people that I'm so excited to like.
We got to get
share
this done
with the world. I know.
I think
Sean Whalen. Sean Whalen was people on the stairs. I got all the ducks basically. Pretty much, I got Sean Weiss is going to be in it. I'm still trying to get some people. I really want to get Ben Stiller. Here's some people that I have like their phone number, like Judd and Ben. Like I could text them.
Shoot them a text right now.
I don't text them. I haven't texted either one of them in a long time.
Just text them how you doing, how you been.
Hey, what's up, Benny boy?
What's up? Lunch is not canceled. We need lunch.
But it's like these are connections that I probably should end up using at some point, but I definitely want to get my eggs in.
I think we should, man, look, let's get this done. Let's get 2 episodes here. I think the Kanye was 2 episodes, right? We should get episode 1 done, the intro, and number 2 go in depth. Let's get the first one done by the end of the year. Give the people something, because I think you got so much stress.
I think I'm definitely gonna do a docu-series.
We got to do
because I also have like I want to talk about parents. I want to talk about drug abuse. So drug abuse, I also was gonna come out to Texas. I came out to Texas to do a podcast with a lady named Haley Rosebud, a very nice girl who runs a podcast called The Thought Room.
She had a pretty big following, yeah?
She had Dennis McKenna on, which like made me go, please let me get on this show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's awesome, and I wanted to talk about plant medicine because I'm not like hippy dippy, and I've never done ayahuasca. I've done shrooms back in the day, but I don't.
Allegedly.
I barely smoke weed. I've taken an edible the last time I did anything with, and so it's like I'm not into drugs, but I know that they can be used to help abuse.
You're powerful, yeah.
And like I have friends who have dealt with that. My brother is, a recovering alcoholic. I have friends who have dealt with that, people close to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to discover maybe it's something that could help something in me. Maybe there are certain things that I have that I need to like see. And like I know ayahuasca is this big possible therapeutic thing. So I went to go talk to her about it.
Record that. That's the next part. We're gonna do the podcast while you're doing it.
Dude, so I still want to, and I think I can. I'm gonna try to. I want to get Dennis McKenna to kind of be a guide in this. So this is different episodes. There's family, there's there's the business side, there's like emotional issues, and then there's addiction. And then with the addiction one, I want to bring the documentary. I want to bring people with me to Costa Rica, this place called Solaris. So like the ayahuasca that they make is like, I've done all the research that it's like pre-batched, so that's like made properly. There's no like, it's not too much or too little. They have it all set. And this woman, Haley Rosebud, is good friends with Dennis McKenna. And he's a neuroscientist who talks about all this stuff. And I wanted to, bring him along, or want him to bring me along to this place and kind of guide us, the camera, the audience, and go and do ayahuasca. And I'm nervous as hell because I don't want to do it, but maybe it's something that, I don't know.
You got to try.
Could be entertaining to
YOLO,
watch too.
Bro.
YOLO, man. And maybe it's known to help. I mean, they're doing DMT shots into people to help them with, schizophrenia, and it's like there's studies that show that this really does help. So, here's an avenue to look at this like stigma attached to child actors and the stigma attached to this kind of stuff that maybe it could go through. So I was supposed to do the podcast. It fell through, but I got out to Texas, and that was the first time I saw Texas. So, hey, man, maybe it was all fate.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
That's it, man.
Hey, it's cool though, man. I mean, all this stuff, all bullshit aside, it's like, look, you can go into something that's addictive, and there's some people that turn to drugs and alcohol, and then you turn to like jujitsu and MMA, right? The same thing with me, man.
It's an addictive personality that got me there.
Like,
yeah.
And so it's like, choose your addiction, right?
Yes.
And choose that addiction from. Look, ironically, I didn't know that about you, but I think mixed martial arts / boxing changed my life on a level, right? Because it became an addiction to me, and it's no different. Is that you choose to like, look, I could choose to go to the bar and have a drink, or choose to go to the gym. I could choose.
You've made work your addiction.
It is. It's like a hobby, man. I love it.
But it's I look at. I mean, pool was a hobby for me, but I was in that pool hall 9 hours a day, like a maniac.
A pool shark.
Yo, I'm still pretty good.
Yeah, you have your own stick. Like, did you get one?
No, I did, but not anymore.
We got to get a stick. Who's a stick sponsor? We can get it for.
Oh man, there's a lot.
The short stick.
There's a lot of them.
I think what really back to the documentaries, how they can really impact people. Dude, the Mark Wahlberg, the Wall Street. Have you ever seen that? When I watched
Wolf of Wall Street, or what do you mean?
No, Mark Wahlberg, right?
Yeah,
he's got I think it's on Hulu or HBO.
Does he? I gotta watch this.
It's called Wall Street, but it's spelled like him, his last name, like Wall, but it's Wall Street, right? Hey, bro, it for me was like, that's what I want to do.
That's what you remind me of, that kind of drive.
I'd love that,
because like that guy took some success.
Just fucking ran with it,
and he took that and reinvested that success into something else.
I watched him. This is when I realized, maybe look, man, you even when you have success, you have self-doubt. I have self-doubt. I have issues that come up. I get depressed. I battle all the same. I mean, I tell people like, oh, what do you listen to? I go, I feel like I have a fucking devil and a devil, man. Like, I listen to people.
I think that is what people need. I think you have that in spades. You have that more than most people.
So much, man.
Because most people kind of like have a little bit of a thing and a little thing here.
But they try to hide it.
And they just kind of go,
But you try to hide it. You got to talk about it. Like, look, man, I wake up sometimes 2, 3, 4 in the morning, jump up in a pet of sweat because of child abuse, right? I freak out sometimes with trust issues because I don't know my real dad. My mom abandoned me, and horrific things. Brother commit suicide, horrific, going to bed hungry, like wild shit, right? But I talk about it, right? Because there's been, dude, dumb decisions when I was younger, in and out of jail, right? Just stupid decisions.
And knowing that makes me even like admire you even more. And it's crazy.
But you talk about it. I battle those things, man. I battle those things, but you make a choice. Do they win or does that win, right? Yeah. I don't want that to win. And so you wonder though, you're like, hey man, when you watch these things and I don't, like I told you, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 2. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm nowhere successful. But when you start tasting some of these things, you go.
Most people see you as a 15, though.
Fuck, but I'm not.
But you see yourself. That's what gets you there.
Because I haven't accomplished shit, and I have so many other things I could do, right? But you wonder, it's like every decision I make it's like, look, man, you're either preparing or repairing. And if I choose to sit my ass on the couch today, I'm having to repair my child's future because I made a decision not to do something. So for me, I'd rather be doing something to prepare for the next day. Right?
I should have had a kid. I would have driven my ass.
No, man.
My dog's making me want to pay bills more.
but you do, man. And it's my family being success. But when I watch, you wonder, like, am I doing it right? Should I not be interacting with my friends more? Because it's hard, man. When look, dude, you don't have alone time. And when you become like, we have 5 companies. I don't hear the good shit. You know what I hear? I need more money. Can't pay my bills. No one calls me and goes, hey, Dustin.
We're doing great.
I drove to work today. There was no traffic, no accidents. It was good. Gas prices are low. I made it to my build. Everything went well. Nobody screwed it up. Nothing happened. Customer paid. Everything's great, man. No, it's my fucking wife left me. I'm broke. I need help. I was stupid traffic today. This went wrong. Somebody screwed this up. Didn't want to do this. They're mad at us. You hear everyone's bullshit. And you have to have the mental capacity to understand that you're there to help those people. And without you, man, maybe they're not where they need to be. And so you hear everyone's bullshit, but nobody hears your bullshit.
What keeps you positive when you're surrounded by that? Because like you have detective syndrome, I call it. As a detective, all you see is
the
death.
You see
crime,
the worst,
death, and then you go home to your family, and that's all you know. It's like, how do you walk in there with eyes, with rosy eyes? How do you do it?
I get home and you hear all the bullshit all day, and you go home. You've been up since 5 a.m. and you get home at 6 or 7, and you want to relax because you're tired, and your kids don't know you're tired, man. I always make sure I turn my phone off. Or like when I pull in my driver, I'll drive around my neighborhood if I'm on the phone. I won't walk inside on my phone, because my kids owe me to give them attention. And I jump in, it doesn't matter how tired I am. Connor, Kobe, like, daddy. They go crazy because I give them that interaction, right? And it doesn't end, man. It doesn't 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, right? And it starts over. The reason why is if I can be somebody's avenue for them venting to be better in life, it's a win for me. And so for me, I love that shit. That doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't bother.
You like making great people.
I don't build businesses. I build people, and then people build the businesses, right?
Yeah.
And so I love all that shit, man. But you hear it all, and it's tough. But you wonder, it puts you on an island. It puts you in dark places. People don't understand you. They think you're a fucking lunatic. They think you're crazy, and you're always the bad guy. You're always the bad guy because people are going to blame you for their lack of success. They're going to blame, if they work for me, man, it's my fault if they're broke. It really is, though. If somebody's not making the money they need to make and they work for me, I drop the ball somewhere. And it's tough because some people don't have the drive, the motivation. But look, man,
you're not their daddy or their mommy. The reason they might not be successful is because they didn't knock on that extra door because they have some self-doubt.
It still doesn't matter.
That's not your responsibility.
But it is, though. They work for me, and there's something I could have done to connect with them. Just like people don't quit companies, they quit leaders. Maybe I should have connected with them. Maybe I should have did some better coaching with them. Maybe I always think about when someone leaves or doesn't have success, what could I have done differently to give them success, right? So I take all that in. And I want to go win, man. I want to go win for them. But it puts you in dark places because, 10 o'clock at night, you're answering your phone. 6 in the morning, you're answering your phone. You're texting. You're trying to figure out ways to get better. And you're always trying to improve the company, even though when people doubt you, maybe they don't trust you. Maybe they're mad at you. Maybe they're not where you want to be. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You put all that bullshit aside and your pride and you go, I still want to win for this guy no matter what, man.
It's crazy.
And so it puts you in dark places, though, because you start to get isolated because in your own thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. And it's with your kids. And when I watched the Wahlburgers documentary, the Wall Street, bro, it was like Mark Wahlberg's the fucking guy. I watched that guy on the phone, and he fired one of the CEOs for his company, or one of the CEOs quit. And I heard him talking to somebody. He was like, well, I'll go and then handle it. And this dude gets on his jet that night and flies across the country and stays there for like a week until he finds a new CEO for that company to make sure it was the right. And I'm like, here this dude, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but I'm sure he's got a couple $100 million.
Pretty close. I'm sure.
Owns clothing line, restaurants. He's an actor. He's one of the best out there. He's done all these things. And then you see him on videos. He's always with his kids. And he was buying like baseball cards for his kids like I do. Me and my son Connor, we have cards with Connor. We do breaks. And he owns multiple companies. I don't know how many it is, but my vision is to own 40, 50 companies because here's what I do. If I own 50 companies and I give you ownership and I change your life, that's ultimately what I do it for. So for me, I've had 4 companies already open, and I've created, we talked today, 10 different owners, right? Besides myself and the partners. So all in all, in the 4 companies, there's 13, 14 owners that I've created off a dream. That's impactful for me. So for me, I want that Mark Wahlberg, but hey, it is okay. And with my family and the businesses, I can impact these other people's lives. And when I watched, I was like, dude, Mark Wahlberg's that dude. And that dude's freaking incredible. And I just watched him on his phones, doing his gyms, working out, hanging out with his families, building businesses, changing people's lives.
So funny, man. People are like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
You see somebody who's still ripped. He's in his 50s, still better shape than me. Has so many businesses. I got a dog, and you hear me going, oh, no, God, I'm picking my dog at daycare. I want to smack myself in the head because you hear these people who who got kids, got a wife, got responsibilities, and like.
And he has the best clothing line in the game. Shout out to Municipal and Mark Wahlberg for their clothing line.
Even know about
so
that.
if you want their T-shirts, either workout shirts or even going out shirts or jackets, the most comfortable. This is crazy. The most comfortable underwear. I won't buy anything else. Hey,
Mark Wahlberg is paying this.
Bro, he's not. Though. I don't even know. Mark Wahlberg, he's not, but he's got the best. Hey, I've spent probably $5,000 on his clothes. Municipal, all T-shirts, jacket. No,
Municipal.
I'm telling you,
I needed.
You got to see it.
Workout like jogging pants.
I got them. Best jogging pants, T-shirts. Hey, bro, they're fire. They're incredible.
Municipal,
So comfy, reusable.
You know what it is, man? I'll tell you. People are driven to people like Tony Robbins and all these Brian, whatever. I don't even know some of their names because a lot of them, to me, not saying Tony Robbins is fake, but a lot of them to me scream fake. They scream they're trying to make money
and quick fix
by helping other people, but they're really trying to help themselves. And a lot of times these people need more help, and that's how they're helping people. You're exactly what they're selling. Like, you are somebody who really goes out there and does care. You're somebody who like you practice what you preach. That's huge. That's huge.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
you want other people to win, man. Like, I even though Mark Wahlberg's, gangster, doesn't even know I exist. That dude's going to be successful. I cheer for that guy to win more now.
That's why,
even though he has more, because I'm
most
like,
people
dude,
are like,
I watch.
Mark Wahlberg sucks.
No,
You
I'm
ever
like-
see his acting, bro? Nobody talks about famous people that are
And what he
They don't go
sacrifices?
like Kanye. People talking shit about Kanye. Man, I hope that documentary changes the way people look about anybody.
Yeah.
If somebody's out there and they're successful for a reason. Maybe they did step on toes and maybe they were shiesty and they got there
But you gotta
because
get
of
there.
that. But they had something that if you're not successful, you don't have. And you have to pay attention to why they got there if you want to get there.
Man, it was crazy because I watched, and he was overseas. He was away for his kid for like 2 to 4 weeks, his family, because he was filming overseas.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had empathy for that, man. I was like, man, this dude's got everything in the world, but I know that feeling of being away from my kids, because when I wake up in the morning, man, and I leave my kids every day, it's the same feeling. And when they say bye, man, I get emotional when they start crying because it hurts. And my son's 4.5. He's going to be 5 in June. And I still get emotional when I leave him. So I couldn't imagine him being over there. And he was like talking to him. And my first thought was I had empathy for him. Because I'm like, hey, man, this dude's out over there. He doesn't have to be acting overseas for a month at a time or whatever it was. But he's doing that because it's the process for him, man. He loves what he's doing. And so the Municipal clothing line, how I first ordered it, I watched it. It's in the documentary. And they almost went bankrupt. And all the investors pulled out because of COVID. And he's like, fuck it, man. We'll just fund it ourselves.
Really?
And they were even though they weren't making any money, they were losing money, and it was crazy, and they were bringing in clothes. He goes, nope, that's not the right one. This needs to be better, this fit. And I'm like, hey, man, this looks like the kind of fit I would like. So I watched the documentary, and I ordered my first shirt, and I fell in love. And then my next order was like $1,000. I ordered every shirt there was, the shorts. I was like, this stuff is incredible, and it's just great quality. And
Check it out.
But it was watching the documentary, and I wanted him to win. I was like, man, this cat is like, I want to see him win, because had all the stuff in the world, could have just said nope, but you saw why. It's like, hey, man, for him, it was the process.
Yeah, you got to root for everybody, man. I feel like if somebody's trying, you got to root for them. I don't care if they're billionaires or they got $10. Like, to look at somebody and go, they already got all their accolades. I'm not rooting for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm rooting for the person who's on the bottom trying to make it. I'm rooting for them too. But
yeah,
man, they're human beings. Everybody out there is going through the same problems, and even if sometimes they have more problems because of the money.
You see it on this? Look at this. Cozy, hit that light. Will you hit the light just for a second? Look at this. This is what, like, winning. You see this? There's lights on. It got a little bit darker. Why did it get darker? These lights are still bright, right? Turn it on. Just because your light's on and somebody else's light's on doesn't mean yours gets dimmer, right?
That's nice.
So cheer people on, man. Let them win. Look, now the whole room seems brighter because everybody's shining.
100%.
Right?
And you're not going to get successful if you – I personally don't think if you're just constantly just in competition with who? It's with yourself. Yeah. If you're hating on people, you're in competition with yourself.
Look, man, people's self-made. You're not self-made. You're not self-made. It's people helped you get there. And people, it's lonely at the top. It's only lonely at the top, Dick, because you didn't take anyone with you.
Yeah.
Because if it's not lonely at the top and you're not hey, man, you're not self-made. You're not, man. People have helped you along the way. People have mentored you, gave you opportunities, answered your phone call, paved the way, introduced you to somebody, helped you. Like, you didn't get there self-made. So don't think when I hear that I'm self-made, I'm like, I don't want to mess with somebody like that. I don't fuck with people like that because they're not about the team. Look, man, we all win when we all win.
Yeah.
And hey, man, I want to take everybody with me. If you want to come, hey, man, buckle up. Let's go.
People have pride that they came from nothing and became something, and they want to show the world. But it's like,
I wish I didn't. Hey, bro, I'm thankful for it because it taught me.
You wouldn't be who you were if you didn't.
But, hey, man, I wish I didn't, though. I wish I didn't have to overcome some of those demons that still haunt me to this day 30 years later.
Sure.
But it is what it is, man. And so I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to – it's part of who I am, right? And so now I've embraced it, and I've learned to just move on from it and embrace it, because you can run from the pain, man, or you can let the pain fuel you. And I've just let it fuel me to try to help someone, be a better person, talk about these things, help my family, help my friends, just create a win, man. Look, man, I think that's all we got. I know we went on long, man, but look, I'm excited. We're going to get this.
I always do that when I'm on.
Hey, I love it. This documentary, man, we're going to get something wrapped up by the end of the year. We're going to do it. We're going to get an episode out by the end of the year. So look for it. The Childhood Star. We're going to talk about it. Hey, man.
Raised in Hollywood.
Raised in Hollywood.
Well, I was going to call it Stigma Raised in Hollywood. I think I might bring it back to that name, Stigma Raised in Hollywood. But
check it. Look, go follow our guy, Aaron Schwartz, on Instagram, Facebook. You can see him.
Aaron Schwartz 11.
Aaron Schwartz 11 on Instagram.
Yep.
And go check him out. Hey, this guy's awesome. Like I said, it was in Heavyweights, Mighty Ducks, Gossip Girls. He's now living here in Frisco, which is incredible. You're gonna see him doing some stuff. I don't want to spoil it, but you're gonna see him doing some real estate coming up and some big things. June, we'll be out in Atlantic City doing a signing.
Hell yeah.
In Atlantic City. We're gonna be out there filming it.
June. It's gonna be great.
Fucking Scott Baio's gonna be there. Yeah,
Scott. A lot of people gonna be
that's
there.
Wild.
Showboat Casino in Atlantic City. If people want to come out
for June, and if you can't make June, there's one in July. We'll be at in the Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountain in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Dude, that's wild. That's got like Harry Potter people are gonna be there. Power Rangers.
There's stuff like in the works.
I'm trying to roll up on a Power Ranger. Like, what up?
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? See,
that dude Walter's a good friend.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So check it out. Hey, man, thanks for the time,
dude.
It was awesome. Look forward to it.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.